Hello, I'm Archie. I want to read you an extract from my short story, Eggman. My bone bag rattled comfortingly. They were all there, Lenny's last mortal remains, 30 years dead. He'd been a beatnik and a singer, back then in the 60s. All groups had had gimmicks. In his, the band would stop partway through a song, and Lenny would read some of his poetry to perfect silence. Each stanza would be punctuated in some way by the drummer. I remembered the gimmick, but not the name of his group. I thought about it. All that came back to me was a driving beat. Chun, 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 chun. These jobs were unpleasant, but there's always interest. Well, come on! My train of thought was broken. I handed the bone bag to him. Will it work? I asked. We shall see. Don't disturb me. I looked out of the window nervously, only half hearing his reply, leaving him to examine the contents. The airs of the day had succumbed to the sullen souse of a gusty night wind. A distant roll of thunder seemed to echo down from the mountains in the north. I was with Harry West. Blonde, slightly built and bespectacled. He was the very picture of a student. But once you looked into his steely eyes and heard him speak, his implacable and driven nature soon became apparent. That and an arrogant air of superiority. My business was dirty and dangerous, to dig up the remains and bring them to him, his even more so. He claimed to have perfected the process that brought his father, Herbert West, so much infamy. He sifted through the grave fresh remains. Couldn't you have taken a little more care with these? I made no reply. We were in his workshop cum laboratory. He sighed, exasperated, and walked over to a bureau against the wall. Reaching into it, he drew out a clipboard, a pen, and a sheet of paper, on which was a list. Well, Harry exclaimed, don't stand there like a stuffed dummy. Check these off. He thrust them at me and we got to work. Skull, jawbone, spine. As Harry called them out, I checked the list and ticked them off. Harry finished his inventory, cursing at the poor condition of the bones. A few minutes later, and the skeleton was neatly organised on a workbench. From here on in, it'd be Harry's show. He began to tinker with homemade lifting gear, positioning it overhead of the bench. I'd be little help other than as an extra pair of hands. Thanks for listening.